other boats. How do you do that?
Well, I'm learning. This is the first time I'm skipper of a big crew and a big project, but we're all learning together, and it's not how do I do it, it's how do we do it as a team. And well, as thank you to you, Richard, you've put together an amazing group of coaches. We've got a lot of support, and we're learning gradually together to do this as a team, to help me become a good leader. And a lot of the key, or what we're discovering, is communication between all of us, and yeah, working together as a team. Where this is how we've got to do this together, and it's a big job that we've got to do together. So that's what I'm learning, is how we can get the best out of everybody to do this, and I guess that's a little bit of my job, is to get that best out.
And how do you, because they also ask, how do you solve issues? And I say everyone has a knife, which you actually do, but you're not using it for that.
Not yet. Oh, we're going to get a really big knife for this leg, apparently. I think some together as a team. Obviously, we're all very strong characters. We all have. That's why we're here, because we've made it here to this through this selection process. Sometimes it's actually good to have issues and to not all be in agreement. And I enjoy the fact that I work a lot with Libby, who's a navigator, and I enjoy the fact that we don't choose the same route, because then we can discuss and maybe find a better one that neither of us had thought of. So it's also about working everybody's input together and getting the best out. And then I think sometimes, yeah, on board we can have issues between us, but we talk about it. We've learned to talk about it. We've got good coaching in the team building side that have, I guess, improved our communication skills when we do have issues. And then there's other issues that we just sort out once we get ashore, because I come from single-handed non-stop sailing, where once you cross the finish line it's all over, but in this case it's not, and I think that's part of the hardest part of this race, is the fact that we've got to do it 9 times over, and it's also the good bit, because we can learn. So we're using each stop to move forward, and not just in the communication department or the team department, but everywhere, with our coaches and the performance and the trimming. We're out on the water today trying to improve what we wanted to learn from the last leg. So yeah, it's doing it over and over again, and resolving some things offshore and some things on the boat.
And it seems to work.
So far, it's working, but I think we can make it even better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to our success, is to improve every leg, and also be efficient in the stopovers to get better and better.
Nice. And you talked about the recruitment. And Annie, I remember when you came to Stockholm many moons ago, and you came to us and said, I would really love to do this race, but please first let me try to sail offshore, because you hadn't done hardly any offshore sailing, but you had a fantastic sailing background, and from Olympic sailing and dinghies and so on. And now you're done, I don't know how many miles, 30, 40,000 miles, including training. And
yeah, 41 apparently.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's very different to what I came from, for sure. When I arrived at a Stockholm office, I'd just been racing at the Olympics. My races were 12 to 15 minutes long, and sometimes would do 10 a day. So unlike what Sam just said, where, you know, she would set off around the world and then that would be it. You know, I have to wait 30 days until we can stop and debrief. It's a bit strange. But yeah, I came from really sort of short course match racing, and set off from Southampton to Lanzarote on a Volvo 70 that we were training on. And I think within about 20 minutes of driving it, I turned around to Sam and said, why have I been sailing small keel boats for the last 12 years? Yeah, we were only going about 14 knots, but I think it was about the fastest I'd ever been. And yeah, I said, this thing's a beast, and yeah, they are. And loved the chance to get to sail one, and I'm still loving it and still learning how to tame the beast and yeah, and go fast. But I'm also learning that offshore racing is kind of relentless. This race is relentless. This is definitely my word for this race, and you just got to keep going. And crazy things happen out there, and yeah, you can't just make a mistake and just get rid of that race and start the next race. You kind of live that mistake every hour, every second for the next 20 days or however many days you're out there, and that's, you know, a big change as well.
And this life on board that people think are so miserable, it's even worse, I guess. But how is it?
As I said, it's relentless, yeah. I mean, I think after the 5th day of being at 25 degrees and trying to get all your clothes on and slamming up and down, sometimes you get a bit fed up, but then I think you get used to it. And actually, for me, the hardest thing is not eating freeze-dried food and not sleeping very much and being damp most of the time, but and having no personal space. But actually, yeah, harder is probably the mental side. You know, if you make a loss, then you're just living that every single second. You know, when you're sleeping, when you're awake, you're working the whole time, and you can't just step away from that at night, take a night off. You've got to kind of drag your way back out of that mistake and try and make up some miles again. And yeah, you know, that's the tough part.
And Caroline, like Lily, you raced in the Olympics, and you raced not in the women's class, you raced in the men's class, which is very rare. I don't know anyone else who has done that. But is there, apart from competition and stuff, do they treat you differently on the race course when you're racing against men or women? Are men nastier than women on the race course?
I think the men are all very gentlemanlike on shore, but once you're on the water, you're all each other's competitor, and you're all out there to win. And at the same time, we as women want to be taken seriously as well and want to be seen as their competitors. So, and I think in this race, when we're out there, the guys, the other boats, the other teams, they don't talk about us as the girls, but they talk about us as Team SCA or the SCA boat, and that already shows that there's respect for and that we're seen as competitors. But I'm sure that, and I've experienced this before, that if a men's boat has the chance to pass one more boat before the finish, and one of them is a women's boat and the other is a men's boat, or there are women on that boat, then they'll go for the boat that the women are on because they don't like losing from women. So that's, and I mean, this race is not just about women against men. Obviously, physically, we knew it was going to be a huge challenge for us, and to even it up a little bit, we get to race with 3 extra crew members compared to the guys' boat. But we've worked really hard in our build-up to this race with our doctor and with Santi, our physical trainer, to really train hard. And physically, I think we can say that we're the strongest and the fittest we've ever been. Or I, for sure, in my life, this is the fittest and strongest I've ever been. So we've done what we can on that front. And yeah, it's a huge race, and it's a huge experience race. And what I find interesting is we've had a huge build-up. We've been training for 1.5 years, but we lack experience. And there's other teams out here that have a lot of experience, but haven't had the time and the build-up. And I think that's what's interesting. Is it the experience that's going to pay off, or is it the time, the build-up that we've had? And I think we're showing that we're growing in this event, and the race is still long, and we're gonna hopefully keep on growing and keep on improving, and hopefully towards the end we'll be able to show a bit more than what we've shown until now.
Nice. Now Josephine.
Yeah.
Please.
I think we should open up for the questions from the floor, and then I think we can show. Next question, yeah.
You get 3 extra crew. Have you guys thought about or figured out what the actual weights come out to? And can you talk about how your overall weight, including gear, compares to the men's team?
Maybe it's something for the team doctor.
Mm-hmm. He wants to get into it, right?
Dr. Zoido.
Yes.
Because Dr. Zoido has worked with the 2 winning teams, Ericsson and Groupama, with the male teams, and now with our team. Do you have some background? Maybe you cannot give details, but some generic
Well, good evening. I would say for, not just because all they are here, but my experience having before with Ericsson and Obama, having two crew members here of Ericsson, the girls have been managing much better than the guys on the matter of the body metrics. So actually we've been working this hard of 1.5 years in Lanzarote, try to prepare them for all this big racing adventure around the world. And first leg actually is the most difficult for everyone because it's the first contact into change diets and see how the body is reacting for 3 weeks of sailing. So they did a lot better than the 2 other boats I have with the mate. And even in this one, it has been 25 days, they have been doing absolutely perfect. So I'm very satisfied, and they should be proud about how they manage this, which for me is a big part of this racing around the world is the nutrition after the good sailing. Does it solve your question?
Not really, but that's all right.
No, I think your question was about whether what our weight is compared to.
I'm not asking how you maintain. I'm asking if I'm just curious. I mean, it's sort of.
Yeah.
You mean about the losing weight or?
Yeah.
No, it's very similar.
Is it about the same, including all the gear?
Normally on ISF it's 68 kilos for a girl and the guy is 85 or 90, I think. And so if you work it out, it's basically, if you go match racing against the guys, you end up with one weight. They work it out like that, and it's very similar to this.
I think that's how Volvo made it 3 extra with the body weight.
Yeah.
And then for food, I think we take a similar amount of food than some of the guys do, even though there's more of us on board. Less weight than some of the guys do.
Yeah.
So in theory, we're not significantly different, even though we have more hands on board. I think for us, and from what I've been talking to some of the other guys, one of I guess, the harder side, or probably the only hard side of being more people on board is the inside the boat management. And the boat.
Because they didn't build it for you.
They're pretty small inside. We do have 6. We have 6 bunks to windward, which obviously when there's with an onboard reporter and a navigator floating, you can potentially have 7 people wanting to sleep at any one time. So it's actually managing where people go, and obviously you want your weight either at the back or the front, and it's a bit harder for us to get everybody properly rested and in the right place in the boat. And then likewise for when we're trying to get dressed, there's more of us trying to get on watch or off watch at any one time, and in a very small space, heeled over at up to 30 degrees. Eating and getting dressed to go on watch for us is a lot harder than the guys. So there's just a bit of inside boat management that's a bit more tricky for us.
We call it the car wash. It's where all of our wet weather gear hangs, and you have to get changed in it. And yeah, Sam's had Velcro stuck to her head quite a lot.
I've been eating my dinner, and then a pair of trousers comes along and sticks its out Velcro stuff to my head from the car wash as the boat goes over away. I think Karina, who's not here today, our onboard reporter, she's got some good images of the inside activity, which is quite a physical challenge in itself.
I have to say I'm in complete awe being in the presence of such an amazing team and inspirational women, which would be a question for them, but also for the organizers. First of all, how do you find engaging, particularly in this region, in the Middle East, where there may be some stereotypes around women and sport? How do you, as professional athletes, engage with women in these types of conversations? And also, that's possibly one of the relevant questions for Josephine or Thomas. So I don't know if you want to start first, Sam, or whoever, and then move over. Thank you.
I think from our side, Dee's probably the best person to talk about that because she's done a lot of sailing with Oman South.
Yeah.
Dee?
Could you repeat that? No, I'm joking. I've been very lucky the last 4 years I've been working in Oman, and so the initiative there was to promote female sailing, female activity. And one of our highlights was that a few of the girls were now down sailing with our sailors that are sat in front of the team.
Thank you very much, ladies.
With their trophies.
Yeah, we'll hold your trophies up just while everyone's looking.
Winning girls.
This is how good. So what was really nice for me, having seen the initiative build over the last few years in Oman, was to come to Abu Dhabi, where I know sailing's growing, and see the girls embracing it and showing us the ropes and how to do it, and now they're getting silverware to prove it. So it's a growing sport, and I think they're working really hard at empowering women, both work-wise and in sport, and they realise the power of sport and how it can put everybody on an equal playing field. And I think Arabic women are feeling empowered to try new things, and it's okay now. It's kind of an old version, or what we perceive to be this area to be like, that they can't do anything. Now actually they can. They have great educations, great jobs, and they can do the sport and the activities they want to do. So it's been really lovely to meet the girls and see it in action in another area of the region as well.
And to SCA as well, please.
Yeah, I can add. As you said,
You also made the front page of the sports section of the New York Times, which is about 14 million people, so nice job on that one. This one's for Carolyn, actually. Do I need a mic or is it good? You're a gold medalist, right?
No.
No? Sorry. Silver?
No.
Bronze?
No.
I thought you won a bronze medal of some kind. All right, my bad, sorry.
World Championship, not
World Championship. All right. In an open class. Anyway, for you, I think the women-men thing doesn't concern me as much, and I pay little attention to it because I've had my butt kicked by a lot of the girls on your boat on the race course, so I'm not worried about your talent and skill. But just like in any one design race, whether you have a speed problem, it's either navigation or it's little boat speed issues or it's sail trim or whatever. In two legs now, you guys have had good starts and then just fallen off. I asked Sam a little bit of this in the last press conference, but I'm curious from your point of view, have you identified whether it's a lot of little issues or a couple big ones or a combination?
I think it's a lot more the little issues, and it's just little things in different areas just adding up, and that's what makes the deficit or the big difference. And it's a little bit of performance, it's a little bit of navigation, it could be a little bit the physical side, so it's little things that in the end just add up. And I think a lot of that is experience that we lack. Obviously, we've had a very long preparation, but we still get out there and we still meet conditions that we've never sailed in before, and that's tough. And I think that's where the guys have a little bit of an edge on us, because with their experience, they can probably switch or shift gears a little bit quicker than us. So it just takes us longer to get into the groove or to get into a certain mode. And you're just saying falling off. At the same time, we fall out of that mode quicker than they do as well. And so that's the hard part. And from the navigation side, it's the same. We're all sailing in areas where we've never sailed before, and a lot of the guys have been here before. So it's I think the main thing is just in different areas, just that lack of experience. And obviously we're growing through the race, and every leg we're learning heaps, and I think that's just what we're aiming for, and our objective is to just keep learning. And we've already improved from on performance, for example. Our boat speed's already improved from leg 1 to leg 2, so you can see the differences. And I think if we just keep making those small steps during the next leg, then we'll be in a lot better shape further down the track.
Nice. And we shall round off this part.
Yeah.
There you will stay for if you have more questions afterwards. But I just like to ask you, Brad, who've done this race 6 times before, what will it take to succeed on this next leg 3? You've done parts of it before?